Hello, it's the Sinister Gambino here with a new video. In this video, I'm gonna finally be making my leak video that I typically do for DLCs right when they come out for the Grand Theft Auto Online, the Diamond Casino Heist DLC, of course. So, obviously, I will say not everything on here is going to be leaks, but the main focus of the video, of course, will be on leaks. So starting off on something lighter, if for some reason people don't get the memo that this is a video on leaks for some reason. But yeah, Test2 said something interesting, of course, which came from like some interview thing that Rockstar did with US GamerNet, and it was like Rockstar is adding more arcade games in the future apparently, and their support apparently for the game won't be ending anytime soon. So that's definitely a great sign. They plan on doing even more arcade games than the two that they are released with the last DLC, and then the bunch that they released with this DLC, of course. So since they plan on making more arcade games, here's a good one to start on, Rockstar. How about you finally fucking make Cube 3D functional? Since that's like literally modeled in the game and everything, and the Life Invader building after all. On to the next theme that I want to talk about, of course. I'm going to be going into the couple things that I screenshotted from Mr. Dupless or whatever the person's name is. So credit goes to that person, of course. So a couple people were having an interesting like discussion about apparently being able to sell in invite-only lobbies through most of the businesses in the game, as well as buying supplies and resupplying in invite-onlys as well. Sadly, it seems like it all got like hotfixed though within like the first like 12 hours of the DLC. So if you were lucky enough to get on for the first 12 hours, fun fact, you were able to do all the stuff I've mentioned earlier, apparently through the master terminal. The only things that you couldn't do apparently was sell and source cargo and then sell nightclub products apparently. But yeah, on to the next clip. On to a couple of things from Classique, which by the way, a nice Grand Theft Auto 4 reference or whatever, some sort of like vehicle manufacturer, something like that. But yeah, if you want to save like 1.3 to 1.4 mil, I believe, for the Lifeguard, Granger, and then the Bugstar Burrito, then all you need is like a friend that actually bought those vehicles on Cash and Carry. And then you have to go to Del Perro Beach for the Lifeguard Granger, and then like to the Bugstar warehouse in like Elysian Island, I believe, for the Bugstar Burrito. And because they're vehicles from like day one of the game, for some reason they weren't marked as high-end. But for those who don't know, pretty much anything over $100,000 you can take to the Los Santos Customs. I believe another vehicle you can do this with, by the way, is like the Lifeguard Blazer. But I believe because that one's under 100,000, you could kind of put that in your garage and whatnot already in the first place anyways. But yeah, on to the next clip. Finally, before I get onto the leaks of this video, which I believe will all be from FoxySnaps, there's this GAFA user on Twitter that tweeted there are 4 different types of valuables you can steal in the Diamond Casino Heist, which of course starts out with cash, being with the max potential take being $2,115,000. Then there's artwork, which is $2,350,000, so it increases by like 235,000, I believe. And then another 235,000 increase, actually, I believe, for gold, similar to the big score heist from single player. Of course, there's gold. And then there's finally diamonds, apparently, which is quite a huge increase, actually. It's like another 700-ish thousand, being $3,290,000. And you can see below the amount of money for the diamonds, of course. And then finally, I'll be going on to the leaks of the video. Onto the upcoming vehicles for the DLC. By the way, some of these, I believe all of them with the trade prices are already in the game as getaway vehicles you can use. Which that goes into how you unlock the trade prices for any vehicles with trade prices that are part of Drip Feed. I believe it's just like any other vehicle through the DLC that you can get a trade price for. Where you just simply use them as a getaway vehicle. So you might be able to actually use the vehicles in advance as getaway vehicles and already be prepared for their trade prices, which is quite nice. Also, the release order is pretty much guaranteed to be bottom right to top left, of course, in the case of Legendary, of course. However, they're probably going to do a Festive Surprise DLC of some kind, of course, in between this Diamond Casino Heist DLC. So that's typically the time where they would go out of order, but once again, that's something they don't really do that much, so even with the fact that they'll do a Festive Surprise, there's a good chance they'll still do the proper release order. But yeah, going into the first vehicle, of course, is the Grotti Furia, which I believe is the only supercar of the DLC, actually. From the vehicles that were released before, I don't recall there being any supercars for the Day 1 Diamond Casino Heist DLC vehicles. So yeah, if you're one that really likes supercars, do know that the Grotti Furia is probably the only one of the DLC. Now I know two other vehicles are going to look like they're very fast. However, I'll explain that later, of course. But yeah, next one up is the Överflöd Imorgon, which seems like a vehicle that's not in the game at all, since it doesn't have a trade price, so it doesn't seem it's a getaway vehicle in the DLC either. But yeah, interesting thing about it is it actually seems to be the very first Överflöd sports car in the game, since I believe Rockstar has only had Överflöd vehicles in the past in the super class. That's pretty interesting for sure. But yeah, next vehicle is the Albany V-STR, or whatever, which seems to be a 4-door sports car, which is kinda unique. There's not very many 4-door sports cars compared to 2-door sports cars. But yeah, next up is the Ocelot R88, I believe it is, which is actually a Formula 1 car, of course. And by the way, for those who aren't very familiar with the history of Grand Theft Auto, the series, of course, there has been Formula 1 cars in the game before. I believe in one of the London titles, they've had a Formula 1 car. And then Grand Theft Auto Advanced and Chinatown Wars. So the handheld Grand Theft Auto games, those typically had Formula 1 cars as well. So I believe they're making their first main series appearance. These Formula 1 cars, of course. That's definitely pretty nice that we're finally getting Formula 1 cars. And believe it or not, they're not in the super class. Once again, I'll probably explain that later. And yeah, same thing with the Progen PR4. It's actually a more expensive version, which if you thought the Krieger was expensive at 2.7 and 2.8 mil, you haven't really seen anything. Seeing these Formula 1 cars, of course, which are 3.1 and 3.5 mil. That's just insane. But yeah, final vehicle for Legendary Motorsports is the Nagasaki Stryder, which its minimum price is 502,500 to 670,000 or something. By the way, all the vehicles on top are one-seaters, if it weren't very apparent. But yeah, that's in the motorcycles class. So yeah, we're finally getting another ATV in the game, which is quite nice. But yeah, I'll be going on to Stubborn San Andreas Super Autos. Onto the vehicles with the Stubborn San Andreas Super Autos. site, of course, that will be added with this DLC. Through drifting, all of them actually have trade prices, which makes it appear that all of them are in the game as getaway vehicles currently. So once again, if you want to unlock the trade prices earlier, if that's how it works, you can use these vehicles as getaway vehicles and you'll get a trade price for them for when they release. But yeah, starting off with the first one I would probably release on the bottom middle, of course, is the Karin Sultan Classic, which is probably the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas version of the Sultan, of course. The only other game aside for like Grand Theft Auto 5, I think, that has a Sultan would be Grand Theft Auto 4. And I believe all the classic vehicles they've done have taken the basis of a vehicle from the 3D universe. So they typically use their versions from like the 3D universe when they do these classic vehicles. And by the way, for those who are curious, it sounds like this is in the sports class. So it's not one of those classic vehicles that they decided to put in the sports classic class, just because it has like classic in the name. That could be something pretty good, even if it means it would not perform as well necessarily. But yeah. Next vehicle would be the Nagasaki Outlaw. So if you were holding off on purchasing the Maxwell Vagrant, you might want to wait till the Outlaw releases. So that Breathy 1322 will probably release a testing video on its lifetime and top speed. Because just because the Maxwell Vagrant is more expensive does not necessarily mean it's going to be better than it in lifetime and / or top speed. The Outlaw could be better in both, or one or the other, of course. So it might be worth holding off on the Vagrant if you have not purchased one. But yeah, on to the next vehicle on the list is the Declasse Drift Yosemite. So I'm pretty curious how this one's going to perform actually, because I'm pretty sure the normal Declasse Yosemite in the game from like the Doomsday Heist, that's of course in the game right now. I believe that one's like top tier in the muscle class, if you don't consider the like free arena war vehicles with the boosts that you can't really race with anyways. So I believe the normal Yosemite is actually the best like muscle car, I believe, at least for a lap time, I believe. So I'm pretty curious how it would perform for sure. But yeah, then the last two vehicles on Southern San Andreas Super Autos is the Dinka Sugoi, I believe it is, which sounds like it's a 4-door sports car. Yeah, that's definitely pretty nice. And then the last vehicle on there, I believe it's the Blista Kanjo or something, or Kanjo, something like that. So we're actually getting another Ballista, which is quite nice. And of course, since every other Ballista, I believe, is in the Compacts class. Well, actually, maybe not. I believe the Ballista Compact might be in the Sports class. But yeah, the Ballista Kanjo is actually in the Compacts class. So you don't have to worry about it being put in the Sports class like the Compact was, I believe. And possibly the Go-Go Monkey Ballista might have been as well. So it might actually perform pretty good in its class, of course, since there's not very many compact vehicles in the game. But yeah, finally I'll be going into Warstock Cash and Carry for vehicles, and then I'll be going into a couple other things as well. Finally, on to new Warstock Cash and Carry vehicles. There's a couple vehicles that will be releasing from right to left, of course, since that's most likely the release order, of course. Starting off, we have the Invade and Persuade Tank, which is the tank you play as from the Invade and Persuade arcade game, of course. That released in the previous DLC, the Diamond Casino and Resort DLC. But of course, it's going to be part of this update for the vehicle. So it's actually an RC tank, which is quite cool. Which I believe will be the first time we're actually going to properly be able to control a RC tank. Now I know in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas there's an RC tank, but I'm pretty sure that one's uncontrollable and it's only like AI controlled in like one of the missions in the game. So yeah, we're actually getting a controllable RC tank, which is quite nice. Which is $2,275,000 with no trade price. And yeah, obviously it's one-seater, even though you can't obviously control it like yourself. But yeah, the weapon options, really the only interesting thing about it is the weapon options. I believe there's a flamethrower, a rocket launcher, and then a plasma cannon. And that's not including the default option on it. Which I believe the default option on it is a machine gun, by the way. So yeah. And also I believe the RPG, if you're going to go for the rocket launcher option, I believe it takes 2 shots in order to destroy a civilian vehicle. So do keep that one in mind. And the plasma cannons are like the arena war, like future shock laser weapons. And then the flamethrower is basically what's on the Cerberus from the Arena War update as well. And then, believe it or not, we're getting a weaponized James Bond 700 or whatever they call it, or JB 700W. W probably standing for weaponized. Now I gotta say, from what I've watched on the JB 700W, seems pretty disappointing. Has the machine guns, of course, but I believe they're like machine guns that come from the online of the game. Like they didn't reuse the single player guns, which seems kind of unfortunate. And then there's no actual spike strips on it as well. Instead you get the option of like spike and slick proximity mines from the Arena War DLC. And then, as far as we know, of course, there's probably no ejector seat on it like in the single player either. However, since on FoxySnaps video, of course, he didn't have a passenger in the vehicle, and I believe it only ejects a passenger. I don't know if it's necessary confirmed if there's no ejector seat. And then finally, the only one with a trade price is the Zhaba, which, believe it or not, that's actually a rune vehicle. And what's interesting about that is there's only one other rune vehicle in the game, being the Rune Sheberick from the San Andreas Super Autos DLC. So we're finally getting another rune vehicle in the game for a manufacturer, which is quite nice. But yeah, obviously JB 700W, going back to that as a sports classic. But yeah, it's off-road vehicle. Doesn't appear like it has machine guns on it or anything, sadly. No weapons on it. But still, it looks like it would be pretty tanky. And according to the sounds of it, it sounds like it would be amphibious like the APC. So that's kind of exciting. And yeah, once again, for a trade price, you probably have to use it for like a getaway vehicle. But yeah, now that I'm done going through the vehicles, there's just a couple more things I'm pretty much going to be going over. Next up, I wanted to show off the festive surprise gifts that are going to be coming out. So there's like a few like festive sweaters or something like that for some highlights. And then full snacks and armor, which is quite nice actually, especially for this DLC, because it gives kind of an incentive to do the heist actually, because the only other way you can really get full snacks and armor, besides being given it from Rockstar, is through the lucky wheel that was added through the previous DLC, Diamond Casino and Resort, of course. And then when you don't use your full set of armor, of course, you'll probably want to use it, of course, because you'll get more armor from Rockstar, whereas if you still have it full, you're not really going to gain the extra armor. So yeah, it could be quite a good incentive actually to do the heists. And then pretty much besides for that, there's 5 firework launcher, and then like 20 firework rockets as well. Same thing with those, of course, you would probably want to use them, of course, since I believe you can only hold at max 20, and if you don't, it's kind of like a waste. But yeah, I don't think we know the days, of course, that they're going to be happening yet till Rockstar announces it. But yeah, I would assume the tank would be a free purchase on Christmas Day, since unlike last year where they did like 2 free vehicles, only having 1, I would say, makes it a lot easier to guess. And I believe with the Hermes in 2017, which was the only like free vehicle purchase of that year, I believe they did on Christmas, so they'll probably do the same thing for, they'll probably do like the exact same thing as well for the Diamond Casino Heist DLC, where they'll release the Invade and Persuade Tank on Christmas, which I believe is a Wednesday actually, so they might release a typical vehicle on Thursday after that as well. But yeah, I'll be going into other stuff as well. Finally, the Formula 1 vehicles that are going to be coming into the game are actually part of a new class called Open Wheel, which is quite cool. First time they're doing a new class for vehicles, I'm pretty positive on that. And then I just wanted to verify the weaponry on the tank that you can get, the Invade and Persuade tank, and then secondary weapons, being a spike and the slick mines from the Arena War DLC. And then the primary weapon for the JB 700W, of course, is a machine gun similar to the one in single player. Though I think the assets they use for the guns, from what I've heard, are from online, and it's not like the cool single player variants or whatever. Which of course is well settled into the like spikes, the actual spikes from single player from the commissioned JB 700. But yeah, long overdue in my personal opinion for the JB 700W, but that's not going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed.